out of my head. It's in my brain at the moment, the bone, but it could potentially cause more damage to do an operation than not to do an operation on the brain, to stick something inside my brain and pull it out. Because what do you say, 1.5 to 2 centimeters, so it's not worth the risk. In the sense of, while it's not affecting me, that's why when he said to me about fits or whatever, that's why I never jumped on the back and go, oh yeah, because it's not the case of that. Because it's like, I'm getting better, and I see everything I do as a positive thing. But yes.
Do we need to do anything about it? No. Okay.
See, good.
When they talked about, I don't know what
and that's it.
but exactly what you were
see
was they said that
about the bone.
That's a whole, it's a bit more difficult to get, more risky, all this sort of stuff. And when your brain is swollen, they don't want to fish around in there.
Yeah. So
if it causes you problems, we can go and get it. If it doesn't
I don't want. There's no point.
But it's not actually going to make any benefit to you. Yeah. Again, it's not.
There's no point.
And I'm not expecting.
Because it's not causing me problems. It causes me a little bit of pain. That's it. Every now and then, behind the eye. That's it. So it doesn't really cause me problems. This was said to the doctor, because I don't want that. I don't want the operation on my head. Obviously I need to get this sorted, but I don't really want the operation on my head to stick something inside my brain to pull out the bone. This type of bone, what's loose in my brain. I don't want that operation. It makes no logical sense to get that, to me. So the fact I've been able to avoid it is fantastic news, because he said it could cause more than damage. He said, but you really want it done, you can have it done. No, I don't want it done, full stop. So that's progress. So then we move on.
Yeah. What's the so this bit here, the black bit, what does that affect? What part of that? I'm gonna grow back.
That's the temporal lobe, okay? That's the superior temporal gyrus in particular on the left-hand side. You're right-handed, yeah. So the area that we would expect that to sort of function, so we'd expect it to affect things like this, like we were describing today, like a bit of speech, maybe a bit of test, bit of memory. More speaking speech rather than understanding speech, but we'll tell you stuff. That's why I was doing these like complex stuff. Asking you to do multi-step tasks, and asking you to name more unusual things. You describe going to the zoo. You're not seeing lions every day. It's not, everybody knows what a lion is, but it's not like we're talking about them every day.
Speak about
you go see to the zoo, you see.
When I thought it was spiders, it's like, why would I say stupid things?
So that's what you're describing, and that makes sense. Okay. It doesn't tell anything.
So when I say stupid things, sometimes, like when I say about the lion, we go should we go and see the hamsters in the zoo? It doesn't make sense. Even to me, that does not make sense. But he just said then, that part of the brain actually makes sense of why you say that. He said because sometimes your brain, he said, if it's been affected, it can pick up different things.
You haven't told us already, but it fits. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Now, does it grow back? Does that area of brain grow back in that scar area? Probably not. But does your brain have neuroplasticity to rewire and take on and recover some of those functions? Yes, to a degree. Okay, how much is it going to do that? Without a crystal ball, it's impossible to say.
Of course,
right? Are you going to go back to never having had a brain injury before? As in before you had that? Probably not. Okay, you're still always going to get a little bit of a hit. Could you get as good as you don't really notice much of a difference? Maybe, but I would hope that you would continue to improve. You're unlikely to get an improvement beyond 2 years. Is that fair to say?
Beyond 2 years.
You're like 6 months now, roughly. You didn't get much of an improvement initially, but you were about to die, and then in intensive care, made improvement, ward level care.
That's just a massive improvement for me, especially when I hear a doctor say that you was about to die, and you made a massive improvement.
Are you going to go back to never having had a brain injury before? As in before you had that? Probably not. Okay, you're still always going to get a little bit of a hit. Could you get as good as you don't really notice much of a difference? Maybe, but I would hope that you would continue to improve. You're unlikely to get an improvement beyond 2 years. Is that fair to say?
Beyond 2 years.
You're at 6 months now, roughly. You do get most of your improvement initially, but you were about to die, and then in intensive care, made improvement, ward level care.
See, and that's what I'm saying to you. As about to die, you just heard that officially from the doctors. He's a professional head injury person in Walton Hospital in Liverpool. one of the best head injury places, and that's the thing. And that's what some people don't. Some people, oh, it must just been a little knock on the head. No, it weren't. The bone got removed, and I had a proper head injury. And he even said almost died of it, which I did. But I signed myself out. Why did I do that? Why? Because my daughters were being born a few months later. So, as a man, I knew it was time to step the fuck up and start being that. And that's why I got the fuck up out of a hospital after being in a coma. I signed myself out early. No one else. Do you think that people sign themselves out of hospital 10 days after coming out of a coma with a head injury that nearly kills them after having this removed and everything else? Absolutely not. I'd done that. But what else did I do? You remember, I went to my other apartment and then I was trying to run on the run machine. That's what I'd done. And like, the fact that I'd done that at my lowest point, I'm proud of that. The fact that I'd done that, I'm genuinely proud of that. The fact that it was only my daughters that inspired me to do that. It's my daughters, because I thought, okay, here we go. And do you know what? But as I said to you, it was genuinely people, you people online, who at my darkest point when I was in the hospital and I couldn't talk properly, I was genuinely suffering. That's why, do you know that what's his name, Jail Tales? When he videoed me a few weeks after I come out of hospital, right, when I was walking into court, I was still suffering really bad then. And you're seeing it, guys, where he videoed me. People say, why is Sam's reaction like that? Why is Sam being aggressive? Right? That blatantly just tells you I was suffering. I was really suffering at the time, right, mentally. Right, and then I've got this fucking clown coming and videoing me, sticking a camera in front of me. Like, he's upset a lot of people over that. A lot of people are looking revenge on him very soon. Nothing to do with me. Purely because he's upset them because of the bullshit he done. So his karma will naturally come to him. Nothing to do with me at all. But karma naturally comes, and his karma's coming to him very, very soon. I promise you that. It's nothing to do with me. I'm a law-abiding citizen, but he's upset a lot of people, right, by what he done, right, and that's it. But as karma comes, like as I said, like Tinhead, me and Tinhead are on good terms now. Like we haven't got a problem. At the end of the day, he got sent to hospital the other day. As he's officially said, he fell off his motorbike. Do you know what I mean? Nothing to do with me. But naturally, karma comes in different ways to people. That Jail Tales will receive his karma very soon. Trust me, very, very soon. Thinking he's funny. When I've got a head injury and I'm really suffering at that time, I was quite clearly vulnerable, and he sticks a camera in my face. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I've just been shot and stabbed multiple times. I've been stabbed in my brain, and then I've got a fucking overweight clown like him thinking he's funny, sticking a camera in my face, and I respond naturally aggressive, right? Because all I'm thinking is something dodgy's going on here. I'm not looking at the camera really. I'm going, stop, why you video me? But I don't know my head at the time, as you just heard there with these doctors, right?
And then put that back on again.
As you just heard, with these doctors, right? These doctors clearly saying about how it reacts in terms of when something like day-to-day stuff's fine, when you just know it's normal, but something out of the ordinary when you've got a head injury happens. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be like someone's walking around with free sunglasses, for example, and be like, what the fuck's that? And you just naturally, because your brain just overlooks it, think, hang on, what's going on? So my response to him, right, and you think what he should have done was turn the camera off and went, yeah, can we do a video? He didn't do that. But as I said, he's upset a lot of people. I've had quite a few phone calls of certain people who are very angry with what he's done. And as I said, it's nothing to do with me. As I said, I'm a law-abiding citizen. Whatever happens to him is nothing to do with me, or whatever goes on is nothing to do with me. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't bother no one. But by him putting that on and getting a couple of million views, thinking he's funny off the back of me, when I was in a vulnerable situation, I was vulnerable at the time, really, really vulnerable. I was suffering, and he thought he was funny with his camera. But as I said, he will naturally receive his karma at some point very soon. Nothing to do with me, as I said. I'll say that again, nothing to do with me. In exactly the same way that whatever happened to Tinhead the other day is nothing to do with me. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't get involved in that sort of stuff. Tinhead fell off his motorbike. At the end of the day, that's what happened. He fell off his motorbike. No doubt jail tales, when something happens to him, he'll turn around and he'll actually, because he's in long grass, he'll actually turn around to the police and say that he's being attacked. Instead of just saying he's fucking had a car crash or something, he'll actually go to the police and say he's being attacked, because that's the type of man he is. But as I said, it's nothing to do with me, whatever happens to jail tales, because as you've seen, there's so much nastiness he's done on social media, videoing people. He's upset a lot of people.
Where it's been. Okay, that's not a problem. No. You can live the rest of your life without a problem. But younger people, maybe we're in the right age group for that.
Oh, for that grow back.
A bit darker than this side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That is basically scarring on the brain. Okay.
Brain scarring.
Yeah. So the brain has been injured by the injury, right?
Yeah.
And there will have been some blood there, and there'll be some bruising and swelling there. And some of it will be damaged, okay? There's not an operation to repair the brain, okay? The neurosurgery, believe it or not, is not that advanced. We can't repair a brain.
Is it funny that I just come out of coma and we had that scumbag jail tales thinking he's funny, seeing a man with a brain injury, suffering, still trying to get better at the time. I'm a lot better now. I'm 100% a lot better. But it wasn't at that time when he videoed me. And he done that at my most vulnerable time. That's why he's upset a lot of people. And as I said, whatever happens to him is nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me at all. It's nothing to do with me. Fucking, I'm just making it clear now. Just for any police, you can question me, whatever, but nothing to do with me. I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Compressing the brain and repair like gross structures, but we don't actually have the technology to repair brain tissue itself. Okay. So there is a degree of scarring and damage to the brain. This left temple lobe is the area which, the things that I was, before you came in, when I looked at the scan, I thought, look, what have we got to ask about and think about here? I thought we've got to talk about
That's it, guys. That's how it works with that, literally fucking madness.
Which you have got word finding difficulties and memory problems, okay? And you have got some memory problems and you've got some speech problems, okay? Because a lot of memory is done by this region, but particularly the medial parts, more here, which looks like most of it's got away with it, but it's still going to affect your memory a little bit, and your speech is still going to be affected a little bit, okay? And then we know that. Now when we look here, there's a tiny bit of bone that's gone in, okay? Now, from the penetrating injury, and I can understand why. Listen, and that makes sense with the mechanism of injury in the knife.
Now, so because when it's gone in the knife, has that pushed the bone into the skull as well?
So beyond the skull, it's broken the skull.
It's broken the skull.
Pushed it into the brain itself.
Oh, is that what it's done? So that's what the knife wound's done.
Yeah. So it's gone in, and you see it's in that. Now, how much is it in, and how big are we?
So it's broken the skull. You just heard the doctor there. That knife wound. The liars online said it was a golf club. It was a blatant knife wound. You just heard the doctor say then it broken the skull and went straight into the brain. And that's what I'm saying to you. And that's when you've got to look at the likes of jail tales, and you've got to think of how much of a scumbag he is when he's videoing me when I'm on my way to court and I'm clearly in a vulnerable situation. You could just see the way I was looking. I wasn't as handsome as I am now. I wasn't, like, you could just see at my lowest point. That is when jail tales tried to do that video. But as I said, that's a classic example of it, guys, of the levels that some people would go to. Like, that's, but you stay, listen.
There's a tiny bit of bone that's gone in, okay? Now,
let me pause. I'll show you what bone he's on about. I'll show you right now. This is the bone he's on about where the stab wounds stabbed me there, if you just tuned in. This is the bone he's on about, what's 1.5 to 2 inches into me brain or something like that. So this is what he's talking about, the doctor. This is Walton Hospital, head injury place in Liverpool.
From the penetrating injury, and I can understand why. Listen, and that makes sense with the mechanism of injury in the knife.
Now, So because when it's gone in the knife, has that pushed the bone into the skull as well?
So beyond the skull, it's broken the skull, and it's pushed it into the brain itself.
Oh, is that what it's done? So that's what the knife wound's done?
Yeah, so it's gone in, and you see it's in that. Now, how much is it in, and how big are we talking here?
So it's broken the skull and gone into the bone. And that's why when you see people saying, oh, Sam Walker's head injury wasn't that bad, the reason why they think that is because of my response. Because I get stabbed in the fucking skull, it goes straight through my skull and into my brain. And then what do? I get up and start trying to get better. That's what I do, guys. To say the different mentality, not many people have that mentality. You've got to be a different type of person to do that, and to sign yourself out of hospital 10 days after coming out of a coma. You've got to be a certain type of individual to do that. That's a fact. Whether you like me or not, there's no disputing that. You've got to be a certain type of individual to do that. But and that's why I say I'm a different breed, 100%. As I said, this was the day I'd come out of my coma. I'd woke up. That's a completely different person. This is when I told them to cut all my things out of my skull. And this is what I'm saying to you. But that's the way. This is obviously in the diamond mines in Africa before I was stabbed in my brain and shot and stabbed. But I will be back there. But my mentality's back, guys. But as I said, it's you people. It's genuinely you people. I promise you, guys. Do you know when I was in my coma and I come out, I was only allowed one visit a day for 1 hour? I was in a foreign country, guys. You got to understand, I was in a foreign country. My friends and family were like, bro, please don't go live. People are going to... I wasn't the same person. However, I'd done it because I'd done what I believed in, not what other people said might be my best thing. And that's what I say to anyone, do whatever you believe in. Don't listen to other people. And I went live. I should not, because I got mocked. You've seen all these people coming out mocking me, guys. You've seen it, all hating, laughing at me, thinking, Sam Walker's finished. But do you know what helped me get better? And as I've said it before, and I'll say it again, it was you people. When I was in me hotel, in the hospital. When I was in the hospital, it was you people. When my friends would go with family, I was only allowed 1 hour a day. It was you people, big up there, it was you people that massively helped me so much, in a sense of when I'd be talking to you. I'd be talking, do you not understand? For me, talking builds my brain. So I wasn't able to speak properly, but every time I was speaking to you every day on my live stream, and when my friends and family said, please Sam, don't, I was getting mocked because I just come out of a coma. I was dying. I'd been stabbed in my brain. The liars were saying it was a golf club, when blatantly you've just heard the doctor even say it was a clear fucking stab wound in the brain. It's gone straight through the skull. But you helped me, because by me talking, it allowed me to grow mentally. Maybe not physically, because I was a definition of me for myself. However, it helped me massively mentally. So when I'm talking, I knew I wasn't the same Sam Walker. I'd have my worst moments, and then when I finished my worst moments, I would hit me live. That's what would happen. If I wanted to break down, I wouldn't do it live on stream. I wouldn't do that. I would break down, I would have my darkest moments, and then when I feel a little bit better, I'd go live. Because I was in a foreign country. I was in Spain, no one spoke English. So my friends and family go, what am I meant to do? Am I meant to just sit there in a bed by myself, doing nothing for the rest of the day? No, I hit live, and you helped me there. And that's why I genuinely say, you never see me disrespect anyone, ever when I see them. I'm so respectful to people when I see them, and I'm polite. There's no one that can ever say that when they've seen me, I've ever been disrespectful, whether you know me or you don't know me. You've even seen it, guys. There's so much I do which isn't even on camera, but occasionally when I'm live streaming, like we'll live stream around Leeds, and you see, like, we come across a homeless person, some woman, like that happens on the daily, probably 8 times a day, where I'm doing that off camera. But this is what I'm saying to you. I'm a firm believer, you should always treat someone with respect. Like, you should always be respectful to people. It doesn't matter whether they're multi-millionaire or homeless. I treat people the same. And you don't see me going into people's lives chatting shit, You don't see me going into lives chatting shit about people. I can't live my life with negativity like that and live my life being a negative person like that. And that's why all I'm trying to do is get myself better. And that's all I want to do, because as I said, I've got my daughters who have just been born, my twin daughters, and obviously got my son. And as I said, I just want to be a better person. I don't want online drama. That's why you don't see me, guys. I don't go live with people arguing. You don't see me arguing with people online. I can't do that, guys. I can't bring myself to argue like back and forth with people online. I can't bring myself to do that. That's why what I tend to do now is just try to, well, what I'm trying to do is trying to be the best person I can be. But it's very difficult sometimes when I see something. This is why I love the fact that our mods, what they do is, when I see something I'm about to respond to, I see it get removed quick. Our mods are removing troll comments straight away. I'm big up for that. And then I also see all you other people sometimes, but I shouldn't be, I've stopped them more or less now. But like every now and then when you just have a little flick in your own comment section and like you see a troll, and then because I've got someone who normally just gets rid of the troll straight away off my comments. But I had a little look, and you know what, I've seen so many people defend me. And that's what I'm saying to you. I get so much love off all of you guys. There's so many people online who, like, do you want to say your samwalker's hated? I'm not hated. That's a fact. I know I'm not hated. You know I'm not hated. But the simple fact is that when I go out, wherever it is, Liverpool, Leeds, London, Chester, I'm showing nothing but love by people when I'm live streaming. People show me nothing but love because I'm respectful. I don't think I'm better than people. I treat people with respect. Do you mean the only people that tend to get cheeky are ones online? You know what they're like. That's all they are. The ones online. But these people online are not like, they don't change. They don't like. You can't allow yourself to get stressed over them. But as I said, I want to get. This is why I want to get back to Africa as soon as possible. January. Because to go from a head injury, where, as I said, when doctors, I nearly died. To go from a head injury to back in Africa, exposing corrupt charities and everything else. And I'm happy that my doctors said I don't need to get the bone, because that was the thing I was most scared of, getting this operation to put something into my head to pull out the bone. I was scared of that purely because I didn't want to end up back to how I was in June this year, because I was I was suffering. Like I was really suffering back then, and I don't want to get back to that. So that's all I have to do, just make sure. So I'm happy the doctors have now said I do not need to get the operation, because it's more dangerous to put something into my skull than to fucking just to leave it. So I'm buzzing with that. I'm so happy, because what that means is I can do what I want to achieve in Africa still, and I can. He just said to me, I just need to be careful with it. Anything to do with here, because it's quite vulnerable. So obviously I just need to be careful with this side. But yes, but other than that, I'm getting better. But as I said to you, sometimes I might have it where I react to someone aggressive, because even people who genuinely support us, genuine people who follow me, probably think he's just been completely reactive there. It's just because sometimes and I know sometimes, like even with Emacs, when I blocked her for something that wasn't relevant, but it was just because naturally I've known you first think, because especially, oh my god, someone just ratted me, someone just like been a bit unloyal in the sense of in the comments, whatever, who I thought supports me, and it's like, right, I blocked them. Do you know what I mean? Like that. And then I realised after, no, they haven't. I'm just overviewing it. But that's all it is. And then I was man enough to apologise. I've never apologised to anyone. I did to her because it was one of them things. She was the first person I did. But as I said, you've got to, as you get better as a man, that's all I'm trying to do. And that's it. Yes, MD and everybody else coming through. I hope you're all well, guys. Yeah. And that's it, and that's all I'm trying to do, guys. But as I said, we don't just change overnight. And then now, yes, everybody there, Miss and everyone else, Yeah, but as I said, in life, you don't just change overnight. It's a slow progress. That's just being a person. But then when you've had a head injury, it's a little bit difficult. Because as I said, like for me, I react to things certain ways. So for example, as the doctor said, because I spoke to the doctor about this video, where someone banged on my door. It was the wrong door, what he got. But the noise was a little bit too... Your mindset is because of the injury, he said, but they won't understand that because they don't know it. He said, that's why I think it will slowly get... Just give 1 second. I'm just looking. It says it's been suspended for 10 minutes. For some reason, the thing has been suspended for 10 minutes, pushing up the rankings. That's because of trolls, a report, and I think. Let me just have a little look. Lucky enough, we've got our manager to get us back up. Right. What I'll do, I'll come off and come straight back on. At least then it'll come back on, guys. I will come straight back on when I come off and straight on. Steve O'Connor, but that's it. I'm just checking there. But guys, I'm gonna come straight back on. Let's have a look at this. Every single person who's come on here, for some reason, it's not letting us push up the rankings because it's just been thing for 10 minutes. But I'll reset and come straight back.